Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the GEN Space Capsules Showcase, the Hypersonic Demo Day, hosted by Genesis Space Flight Laboratories, a rising new star in the European space system. My name is Grega Donsha, and I will be your host for this day's event. In just a few moments, the founder of Genesis, Dr. Bence Matyas, will open the event. He will speak about the motivation behind creating Genesis, the company's mission, and of course the importance of making microgravity research both accessible and even more frequent. The Genesis Space Flight Laboratories was incorporated in July here in Čakovec at the Technology Innovation Center Međimurje. The founder chose this location specifically as it is surrounded by metal workshops, additive manufacturing facilities, and PCB laboratories, everything needed for rapid prototyping under one roof. In this very building, the company is already building not one, but several re-entry spacecraft aimed at democratizing access to microgravity research. In the same month as its incorporation, Genesis secured a €300,000 seed investment led by Fil Rouge Capital to develop the GEN re-entry vehicle family right here in Čakovec. After the opening remarks from Dr. Matyas, you will hear from the core engineering team responsible for developing GEN. Following their insights, we will hold a short questions and answer session and then take a short break. This will be an excellent opportunity for networking and for taking photos of the capsules displayed here in the hall. But first, some house rules. Photos here are welcome, and if you do take them, you can also tag the Genesis Space Flight Laboratories on LinkedIn. However, the photos backstage are prohibited. During the tour, you may also see machinery and tools that are used for prototyping GEN capsules and producing engineering modules, but you are also kindly asked not to take photos there. The tour will take place after the moderated event. After the break, we will continue with a presentation for one of Genesis' early customers, a research and education foundation unveiling their experimental setup for the GEN microgravity platform. Finally, Dr. Matyas will return to the stage with the closing remarks, and afterwards, a guided tour, which I also mentioned a little bit earlier, of the build facility will be led by Dr. Mario Scherzer, the director of Metalska Jezgra. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the founder and CEO of Genesis Space Flight Laboratories, Dr. Bence Matyas, to officially open this evening.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. It's an honor that we can host this event for you among our friends, early investors, and early customers. And it's just a very beautiful thing, and wanted to have a moment to stop and celebrate a little bit our achievements and also report on the development progress of the GEN capsules, because we are such in a rush lately. So we just launched MayaSat-1 in June, and since then we didn't stop. So that is a very excellent opportunity. We already had a meeting earlier this year in February in Budapest, where basically our early customers could present their research setup on MayaSat and the main motivation behind. And now we celebrate another big milestone because we started to develop the GEN re-entry capsules. So it's very interesting what we are aiming at Genesis, because we are on a mission to democratize microgravity research. So instead of relying on space stations and larger vehicles, which basically are frequent, providing not so frequent missions, or competitors are having missions or launches in every second or third year. So that's why we wanted to beat them by producing smaller re-entry vehicles, which we can launch multiple times a year. Obviously, the payload and in volume and in mass, we are more limited, but we are more frequent. And because of the today technology, the miniaturization, most of the instrumentations that the people are using on the ISS can be miniaturized. I'm talking about separation technologies, microchip electrophoresis, and any other tools that we not necessarily need the astronaut there to make this experiment. So because of that, if we are making autonomous laboratories and we are making them possible to return back and bring back the valuable samples to the researchers, I think it's a very big step in order to reach independency in terms of reentry capabilities and so on. And I'm very proud today because the core engineering team is also going to present something very interesting today. You are going to see the GEN capsule, the first 3 versions, the GEN 1, the GEN 2, and the GEN 3. You can see a maquette of the GEN 4, which is the biggest space capsule that we can deploy from CubeSat dispensers. So you can see the smallest one and the biggest one, which still can provide very frequent launches and re-entries. So I'm very welcome. The team, the core engineering team on the stage is going to follow first the TPS systems, and after the satellite, the SATCOM development team going to share their insights. And after, we are going to hear from our very early and very good friends, or very early customers, the Orion Space Generation Foundation, and they are going to showcase their research and their future plans. And after that, we are going to close the event by a build facility visit led by Mario. Thank you very much, everyone, and welcome on stage, Max. Thank you.